Hello, I'm Reinhild Zenk and I'm working in Institute Kim since 20 years. And today I want to introduce you into a special method which we use in social work, in psychotherapy and in different situations. This is called sketching a situation. We know that there's always a lag between in communication, someone is sending a message, someone receives a message, and there is a difference in. To overcome this difference, we need really a picture, a small sketching of the situation. It helps. Even insurances are doing this after an accident happens. And why we don't use it in our work? Maybe because we think sketching something is like children work or what children are doing. So we adults, we don't sketch a situation. But I can tell you, Hannah Elisabeth Schumann, she discovered the power of this sketching. It was a long time ago in a home for traumatized children, where she used this method to prove what is the conscious about the reality of these children. And this is really an urgent question. She and her husband, they worked for the PhD, which he got in a study, and it shows that it gives really a very good information about the person if the person can set up the own position on a piece of paper and can also set up the reality, how she or he feels from the subject view, the reality on a piece of paper. This means we use the self-reference of a person, we use the conscious of the person about its own life. And if you do it by yourself, and I can really advise you to do it for yourself, you can do it alone, and you can do it with someone who is not talking too much and giving you space that you can externalize your subject view about you and your life, maybe in a special question. So I used it in my work as social worker and later as psychologist. We have so many situations where we don't look really through, and instead of giving smart advice from the psychologist, I like to give a piece of paper and say, okay, sketch the situation. If I only talk, words can run away like a small river. But a picture, a sketching of the situation, that stays. And it stays also in mind. So if the person draws this special case easily, with symbols, with metaphors, an analogy, oh, I feel like in a cave. Oh, I feel that I get pressure from here and there. If I see the situation, I can ask myself, what's going on here? And maybe at first I think there will be no answer. That's only for the first moment. Because if I use the next step of this sketching the situation is to go in distance, to look to a situation where I am in, but now I see me from distance. And This distance gives me the freedom, it gives me the overview. So I am now the overviewer, and my psychologist or social worker or coach is beside me. We both look on it. And then I can give a title. What I'm asking myself if I look on it, yes, I ask myself, how can I get out? It's not easy to forget such a picture. It shows me in my life, and even if I don't think about it, this picture affects a self-organized problem-solving process. So this is running all over the night and the next day, and I will get ideas from it, solving ideas. And maybe I get the idea just after I finished this sketch of the situation, because I don't want to see me in a cave. It brings me up. I don't give as much power to the psychologist because it's my process, and he or she only helped me to discover my situation and my abilities in the situation. In our brain we have these two hemispheres which are a little bit specialized, and you see the left side, usually with right-handed person, is the left side more specialized on sequential processes, and the right side is more specialized for spatial and analog processes. And both are not always together. They have a bridge between its corpus callosum, and this works not frequently. It connects both hemispheres mostly in relaxed trance, mood. And we have this daily trance in average 13 times a day, if we are healthy, if we are relaxed enough. And if we are under stress, then it's less. But if we work peaceful with sketching of a situation, then we use the advantage, and that gives the client more freedom. Let the person come out with what the person wants to come out, not more and not less. And we don't interpretate. Many people are used in interpretations of pictures, even special in psychology and psychiatric work. We don't do it. And for this experience, we know that a person can say by its own, what does this picture mean? And we really think that it is more intelligent not to be the smartest company, to show, oh, I have studied, I know about you. If you draw a crocodile, then I know the crocodile means this or that. If I behave like that, I bring me up to a big expert, which is a fantastic role, especially if I feel not so expertful. But we don't like this role, and this role makes a very big difference between a client and the company. We think both can be a good team in discover what is the situation and what abilities are in the situation to overcome it, to solve it, and to come in the next step to a draft of change, even in a picture. From my work in the psychiatric field and with really people with heart sickness and problems, I know that this peaceful sharing the situation gives a very good effect because it has an implicit message. The message is, whatever there is, we share it, both now. As I read about there was an outcome of study about EMDR, and the result, the unexpected result, was that for traumatized people, the eye movement was not necessary. The result was the same without eye movement. So the theory was based on something which didn't work. What I mean is, maybe we have the same effect if we work with sketching a situation and someone is sketching a worse situation and I accompany this with a calm sharing. I'm not investigating questions, asking. I only follow, support, don't interpret. So I think this effect, this trauma-solving effect, which I know from my work, it's the same, but the sketching of the situation gives something which EMDR cannot give. It gives an overview about the own life, about the own good places to get energy, about the own good relations. Even if I work with, as I did with a young woman after she tried to do suicide herself, and she was so sad because she had less persons in her life with a good relation. So in that case, I took the piece of paper and we looked on it, and I asked her, please sketch the situation of the relations you have, even with people who are not more living, even with an animal, if you like it, or whatever. And she placed herself in the middle, and there have been 2 relations to 2 persons and to 1 cat. And with this simple sketching of the situation, she saw herself connected. And she glued this piece of paper beside her bed in the hospital, and it gave her a lot. I shared her loneliness, but through this sketching the situation, I could also share her contacts. So we have the process with really 3 steps. At first, to externalize in sketching a situation. Then to go through it and look what happens there, to find out what happens there, and to give a title and a question. And the next step is to find how can this go better? How could this be solved? Even if a person don't know how, but then we have the possibility of pictorial solving. Only solve it like a comic story, like a pictorial story. You can solve it like that. And from this result, we can learn and can see how it could be in reality. It gives impulse. We can use this method even with children up from 6 years. And children can easily draw what is their life. We can use it in work with parents. Sketch the situation of a family. So in the next video, I will introduce you to another method of this integrative work.